Welcome back to the Warwick F1 show. We are going to be looking at the Brazilian Grand Prix for this weekend, and I think in the spirit of 2023 it was another race that was fairly disappointing in terms of entertainment. Obviously a sprint weekend, we did see an interesting qualifying, the end of times, the apocalypse of Brazilian weather descending on the circuit at the end of Q3, which was quite interesting to see. We had a sprint race on Saturday, which was probably the highlight of the weekend, lots of overtaking going on in there, and then a race on Sunday that I think it's fair to say was awful. There's not really any other way to put it.
No, it was just dull from like start to finish. Minus after the first lap.
Yeah.
That then got so red flagged. The race had no intrigue. Once Norris had like one failed lunge.
Yeah, I mean,
it kind of just died. And like McLaren's pit strategy wasn't ideal, which kind of ruined what could have been a fun race.
Yeah. So Max Verstappen taking his 17th win. He's now.
Has he officially won the constructors on his own?
I think I think he'd be winning the constructors.
He had to outscore Mercedes by 26 points.
I don't know if he's won it, but he's probably definitely winning it.
Oh yeah, well he's got 500 points and Merc have got 300.
Yeah, I think Lewis. Well, I think the last driver to do that. I think Lewis might have done it in 2020 by a few points over Red Bull.
Maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah, because Red Bull had really bad reliability that year.
But Max, 17th win, has already beaten a record I didn't think would ever be beaten in terms of the percentage of wins in a season. Guaranteed to beat Alberto Ascari's 75% all the way back in 1952.
I know.
And that is insane.
It's so impressive.
I don't think this season.
I don't think you can hate. It's just such incredible. It's a mixture of everything. Like, obviously, the car's very good. Yeah. But it can't be that good. Like, Perez, we do joke that he's not had a great season, but he's not like a mug. Like, he's not a dreadful driver. He's not just dropped off a cliff. Like, he was winning races at the start of the year.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of everything. I think the car initially at base level was very good. I do think it's probably been developed more in Max's direction, because obviously Red Bull would want to prioritise their main driver, and obviously Max's unique driving style means that it kind of goes away from Perez at the same time. But regardless of that, the staggering levels of like consistency from the team, from the driver, from everything within Red Bull and within Max Verstappen.
Even when he's had competition, like even when that Red Bull maybe hasn't been the best car, he's just been streaks ahead. Yeah.
And what if, apart from Singapore, he hasn't lost a race since Miami, and that was in...
No, he won Miami. It was Baku.
Oh, was it Baku? Hasn't lost a race since
Baku. Since the fourth race of the season.
Yep, since April. That is insane. And
outside of Singapore, where they basically prioritised Japan.
Yeah. I mean, Singapore, we spoke about it, but it could have potentially...
the race pace was good.
Yeah, he could have...
Their quality pace was just dreadful.
It would have been interesting to see if he got into Q3 what would have happened. But apart from... Singapore was really the only blot on sort of the grading sheet of this season, and it's such a tiny mark on a season that for me won't ever be beaten in terms of dominance. I truly can't see how this could be topped.
The only way would be if it's Verstappen again next year. Yeah. And Perez just doesn't win those two races at the start.
Yeah, basically that would be it. It's just Verstappen again. But this, I think, beats 2002 for Ferrari, beats 2004 for Ferrari and Schumacher as well, is probably, or it's definitely better than anything Mercedes have done. Obviously, you can say context is slightly different with Mercedes, but regardless of that, it's an incredible achievement.
It's ridiculous.
And this race it was just dominance kind of from start to finish. Obviously gets those two good starts. He's out the front. Lando does challenge for a bit. You almost feel like that's Max kind of looking for something to do, and then he breaks the DRS and drives off into the sunset.
Yeah. It's not the first time we've seen a car seeming like it can stick with the Red Bull, and as soon as it's out of DRS, it's gone.
Yeah. And the RB are we on? 18, 19,
19, isn't it?
Whatever Red Bull it is this
19.
year, it will go down in history as probably one of, if not the most dominant car. Up there with the W11, with the F2002, with the MP4-4 back in the 80s with McLaren.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable achievement. And it's probably part of the reason this season's been a bit dull, but you can't blame them for that, can you?
Like, at the end of the day, yes, it's dull, but you don't complain when your team's winning 8-0 every week, do you?
Exactly.
It's boring for everyone else, but...
Yeah, and I've been seeing people compare it to the 2020 season. What do you think about that? Because I think there are comparisons to make. The only way I'd say 2020 was maybe slightly better for me is just it was quite a unique season. We got to go to all these tracks.
The tracks were cool.
Yeah, we got to go to all these tracks we'd never go to.
2020.
There were a few races that kind of threw up some upsets, but you could argue that was only because of Mercedes kind of messing up.
Yeah. I don't know. I think 2020 you can't compare it to anything, just because of the situation in general. All the regs were pushed back a year, and then also you had Red Bull's reliability was dreadful. But there were weeks when Red Bull were faster than Merc.
Yeah,
you've not had that this year.
Well, it was the second Silverstone 70th anniversary, probably Abu Dhabi as well. But then you could argue the aspect that made 2020 so interesting kind of impacted Lewis Hamilton's performance at Abu Dhabi, and the title was won by then. So
well, you had Sakir with George Russell, was really fun.
Sakir, I think there were slightly more interesting sort of like storylines in 2020, whereas this, I'm slightly, what are they going to do with Drive to Survive? Because this is
what I really hope. Was there Drive to Survive this weekend? Were they following anyone?
I don't know who they were following this weekend.
Drive to Survive is going to make it seem like the season finishes in like Belgium.
It really.
They always focus on like 5 races. It will be Bahrain because it's the first race. They always spend about 4 episodes on that.
Yeah.
They'll somehow make an episode about Imola, and we didn't even go.
I guess that's quite an interesting kind of narrative.
They'll probably they'll do Monaco. Maybe Baku with Perez winning, or Jeddah.
Yeah.
Singapore, I hope they do.
I think they'll do Singapore. I'm honestly, I think this season it hasn't been the most interesting. I think it's something we'll discuss when we talk about the season as a whole. But ultimately, it's not but you can't blame Red Bull for wanting to win every race and then winning every race. And all the teams had the chance to catch up. We saw McLaren go from the back to the front. Like if Ferrari or Mercedes had done that level of progress, then they'd be challenging Red Bull. It might have been too late for the title, but there's still challenges at every race. It becomes a sort of 3 or 4 race, 4 driver fight for the race win. But anyway, well done to Max Verstappen.
Yeah, once again.
Yeah. So the Brazilian Grand Prix, we'll come back to it now. We'll do the rankings now. I am giving that race a generous 3 out of 10.
I'll go 4. I didn't watch much of it.
Okay. Apart from the start, which obviously,
which is
carnage and chaos
and depression,
and depression for you, and the end, which was a good ending. The middle part of that race was
60 of the 71 laps
were very, very boring, and there were some people saying that it was an enjoyable race. There were overtakes and stuff, but it just wasn't.
I think you're slightly biased by the fact that all the overtakes were a Mercedes going backwards.
I will not deny that probably is infringing on my judgment ever so slightly. I've never been one to shy away from the fact that I am a Mercedes fan, but regardless of that, it was really dull.
It's like one of the F1 updates, like if you follow it like through the app on Sky, was that Pierre Gasly is closing to Lewis Hamilton. Like that's not that's not update worthy. Like you could see it was happening. It's like, oh, he's now behind him. I'm like, great.
Yeah, and it was so I think it was probably into the 60s when obviously we were watching Perez and Alonso for about 10 laps.
Yeah.
Apart from that, the closest gap between two drivers was 3.5 seconds, and that gap was increasing.
Joy.
That you cannot say that is a good race. And yes, I'm biased because Mercedes were going backwards, and
it still wasn't good though.
No, exactly.
For Brazil as well, which we always have such high hopes for. It's just such everyone was like, oh, it's gonna be such a good weekend. It's a sprint weekend. Oh, qualifying was well. We've got like a bit of a shaken up grid. No.
Yeah. I don't think Norris got through right at the start, kind of put his car where it
Leclerc not being there was quite disappointing because the Ferrari looked to have like all right pace.
Yeah.
It probably would have been like a comfortable third.
Yeah. We'll come on to the race in a sec. We'll do qualifying and the sprint first. Qualifying, that was insane.
It was like messy.
Well, the first two sessions fairly normal. It does demonstrate that the regs, apart from Max Verstappen, do or have worked.
Yes.
Because how close that grid was.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
Like, on the face of it, they've worked. If you just ignore the driver that's currently 250 points ahead of everyone else in the championship.
The fact that Lando Norris is able to come back from like last to potentially fourth in the championship isn't feasible in most seasons. Like that kind of progress up a field isn't possible unless the cars are relatively close in the first place.
Well, every current driver on the grids has scored points, which is probably the first time that's happened in a long time. I think it was one of the earliest we've seen all teams score points.
Did not happen last year.
Did it? I can't remember. Did Latifi score points?
He must have done, surely.
Oh, he got some at Japan, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I think so. I'm sure they did.
But either way, well, that's last year as well. Regs are getting closer. But it has worked, and the gap was very close. And then Q3 happened, and apparently the world decided
there was
Brazil.
Yeah. Bernie Ecclestone was in the
the clouds. It was so because. You know, when you're watching it on telly, it looks brighter than it always does when you're there, and it looked really dark on the telly.
It was a night race.
It was pitch black.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
The lights came on the start finish straight.
Yeah, it was quite cool. Lights. It gave me like 2008 flashbacks, like the rain and the dark with all the lights along the pits.
Yeah, and
hear me out. Every race should have to it should alternate between day and night races. All circuits, like track circuits, not necessarily street circuits, should have a night feature. And if it's a sprint weekend, you can do one at night.
Yeah, but
like nighttime quali at Silverstone.
That'd be so many spotlights.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
That would be cool. Oh, that's a good idea. We should have put that on our ideas one.
Or what? Just take it from WEC that you have to do something at night.
Or a sunset race. We just need sunset races.
We won't talk about WEC either, but.
Well done to the Iron Dames, by the way.
Yeah,
winning the last ever GTE LM race.
The Ferrari race that won Le Mans didn't even finish highest out of the Ferrari cars.
Nice.
Yeah, it came fourth.
Oh, well. This is an F1. We bandy off into sort of.
We just like motorsport.
We do like motorsport. But back to the F1. It was kind of the wind that threw all the drivers off.
Yeah.
Rather
Oscar
than the
Piastri.
rain. Oscar Pastry. Driving off at the final corner. I love that Brazil is one of the only tracks that has corner names. Like Ferragura and Cida de Lago.
Yeah, Cenaresas.
I've forgotten what the others are called. What's the final corner called?
I don't know.
Is it Yunsao?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, going off at Yunsao. Kind of disrupted everyone's lap to a certain extent. Like, it didn't it just sort of disrupted everyone's progress. The Aston Martins were back up there.
Yeah.
They had a very good weekend. Max Verstappen predictably put it on pole.
Sounds about right.
Yep. And there was some discussion about this. It's like, when did everyone go out? And I think it was like I don't want to not give credit to Red Bull, but I think that's more on Max Verstappen in this case.
Well, yeah, he just overtook everyone in the pit lane.
But even he was like the fourth or fifth car out on track and still managed to put in a lap that got him pole.
Well, you say that Checo was like last out.
Yeah, well, that's my point.
And got caught out by
it's less Red Bull and more Max in this case. And that is another good point that we'll bring up quickly now, is that this whole rule around the pit exit and
I like it.
Where they should be. I don't know about it, because
I think it's clever.
It's very unique to Brazil, I think.
I think Brazil is sort of an issue because of how long the pit lane is.
Well, the pit exit is about...
You couldn't do it in Monaco.
No. Because that thing just feeds straight out onto the racetrack.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the penalties for, I think it was the two Alpines and George Russell?
I didn't see the Alpines ones. George Russell's make sense.
Well, I think...
George Russell parked, he's like halfway down the lane and was parked in the middle going as slowly as possible.
I think Russell penalised or blocked Gasly, who then went past and then immediately stopped and then blocked Verstappen kind of thing. But yeah, I did agree. I don't think it was communicated perhaps as well as it could have been. It did
I think it was. I think even like the commentators were like, yeah, you just have to stay to the left and let the cars pass.
So it's just the drivers being drivers.
It's really not that difficult. It's basically, once you leave the pit lane, you can go left.
Yeah.
And if you're going slowly, go left. If you want to overtake, you can.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. Just don't go slow.
Well, that was beyond some drivers, apparently.
George Russell.
And the Alpines, to be fair.
I think it's George Russell is just turning more and more people against him week by week.
We'll come on to George Russell. But first, we'll have a quick chat about the sprint. And to be honest, that was probably what I thought Brazil was going to be. There was a load of overtaking. I think it was helped by Lewis Hamilton forming a train of about 17
It helped by the Mercs
cars.
having really good starts and then all of them dropping back 800 places.
Yeah, and we'll come on to Mercedes next as well.
Yay.
But I enjoyed the sprint, and this... We'll do obviously sprints, big discussion, we've spoken about them a lot. Final sprint of the season.
As boring as, the weekend it was as boring as the first weekend.
Yeah.
The other sprint.
Yeah, but I'd say the sprint race was pretty good. Now we've finished with the sprints. Obviously, we've had 2 in the last 3 races. What would you... because there's now discussion about what will be changed for next year. What would you kind of change?
I like the current format.
So do I.
But people aren't happy. Like Martin Brundle's like, I think we'll see qualifying go back to Saturday. Why?
Yeah, I like
that it's back to back, and if you mess up in sprint quality, you have no sprint race.
I don't agree with these arguments that it's just a preview for the main race. Because
it can be.
I think
you have to be very selective of the track. I think Monaco would be a perfect one for it.
Yeah. Brazil was not really a preview of the main race. You think
it was. It gave us too much excitement.
Yeah. Austin wasn't really a preview of the main race.
Spa, no.
Spa and Austria are a bit different because
but that's the whole point of it, though. That's why you got to be selective. Silverstone would be great.
That's the thing, because let's say we're at a normal race weekend at Brazil. Oh, we miss all the fun weather that's coming in on the Friday. And cool, it would have got dark at the end of practice kind of thing.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been an FP2.
I'd rather watch a competitive session than FP2.
Even... It would be funny
no,
to have a race on the Friday. Like, if you wanted to make a change, I think you drop a sprint quali. And you do something based on points. Or
just, reverse.
Or you do it based on FP1. Reverse, or
reverse. Do quali in the morning. Do FP1, FP2 quali in the morning on Saturday, and then do a reverse top 10.
Yeah, but I like that there's something on a Friday though. I think it adds that extra element that you've got. I don't think you could have a second practice session maybe Saturday morning.
Yeah. But we've said this a lot. I like the one practice session because it means that teams...
You have to get it right.
Yeah, teams that get it wrong.
Mercedes keep having really bad weekends.
Like Mercedes, they got it wrong and then they suffered. And I think maybe it's too far to the... And I'm not...
I'd have no issue.
That's incredibly hypocritical.
I think the tyres are a problem. You should have an extra tyre set.
I don't get it. They take away an extra set for sprint weekends for some reason.
It's because in sprint quali, you can... So you don't lose the tyres, I don't think, from the practice session.
That's the only thing I knew about from the F1 game that I actually learned is that you lose tyres if you don't use them.
Well, no, you at the end of every practice session normally, you lose the 2 most used tyres sets. So, but you can only use 1 set in each quali session.
Yeah. And
I think you get an extra pair if you get to SQ3.
Oh, okay.
So you're not losing.
Yeah, I'd redo the tyres. I get why. I get that Friday, the whole disjointed thing. I kind of get the argument. Personally,
I get the argument.
In favour of it.
No.
I can see
sprint
quali and normal quali being... Or maybe do the sprint race in the morning and do normal quali in the afternoon. Because a sprint race, if you put it at a night race, a sprint race during the day and an actual race at night are going to be very different things, aren't they?
Yeah.
So do something like that.
Yeah, but then why can you have a night race?
Yeah.
I don't know why you couldn't do something like reverse top 10 from the previous race.
Yeah.
And do like a sprint race Friday night.
Yeah.
But you're not in Park Fermé.
I can't. I don't. Yeah.
And then you have a practice 2 in. So you'd have FP1.
Yeah.
Reverse top 10 from the last race, sprint race.
Yeah, on the Friday.
Yeah. FP2 Saturday morning. Quali Saturday night. Race Sunday.
Yeah, that can work. And I think that people are too harsh. Not too harsh, but I don't really understand the level of hatred for sprint weekends.
No, so what are you complaining about?
I think 6 perfectly fine for a number.
Yeah, 6 is fine.
I would spread them out more. I don't think 2 in the last 3 races.
Well, it's 3 in the last 4, isn't it? It was Qatar and then 2 in the triple header.
Oh yeah, you're right. 3 in the last 4. That wasn't great.
No.
Planning. I'd spread them out throughout the season.
I'd have 1 for the first race of the season. You get 1.
No,
because if you're in Bahrain, it's the perfect time to do it. You've been testing there for 3 months. You know the setup of the car already.
True. I do kind of like the whole traditional start though. We'll do it.
Yeah, I get that argument.
I think a sprint race number 2 or number 3 could be.
Well, I think alternatively, if you start the season at Jeddah,
sprint race at Jeddah would
no
work.
Normal weekend at Jeddah, but it's first race of the season.
And then,
but you still test at Bahrain.
Ooh.
And then you do your sprint race at Bahrain week 2.
Yeah.
That way you've scored all your data. I mean, people actually take testing seriously.
Yeah. But sprint races, I think are...
I think it's a big win for F1 fans.
I think it is a big win. And I don't get the level of dislike. We need to find a sprint race hater and bring them on. And they need to explain it to us.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't like them. Like,
it's more competitive racing.
It's more F1. What are you complaining about? That you don't have time to watch it. So what? Watch it on YouTube.
You can catch up. Yeah.
Watch the highlights.
Yeah.
They're more exciting than the normal sessions, I think. Sprint quali needs to be redone.
Just make it one shot, because it basically is.
I think SQ3 should be one shot. SQ2 and SQ3 I like because it's harder tyres for longer.
Yeah. I like sprints, and this one was pretty good. Or Brazil.
It made the weekend better.
Yeah, there wasn't much.
I don't think there's a weekend you can look at and say it's made it worse.
No, because Baku sprint was more interesting than a race.
Yeah. Austria, yeah.
I'd say maybe Austin.
Yeah.
The sprint
Austin
wasn't
kind
that
of
interesting.
gave you an idea of what was going to happen.
Yeah. But what,
the
5 out of 6?
The only thing I would say, though, is with the current format, if there's weather on the Saturday, it doesn't affect the race. So in Austria, we would have had a wet quali.
Yeah, true, but...
I like keeping quali where it is, but I still think there should be a competitive session on the Friday.
Yeah, which is, I guess, why people say switch around the sprint quali and the actual quali. Because...
and do sprint?
Yeah, but then the trade-off of that is if quali wasn't on the Saturday and we would have got Brazil.
Yeah, but you would have had an exciting sprint race.
Yeah.
Still. You would have had something.
But if that rain gets there, 15 minutes earlier, it kind of becomes a whole new ball game.
Yeah. Obviously. Actually, if we'd had sprint quali on the Friday, it would have been no different because it would have been done 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah, exactly. It's a difficult system, but personally, it's one I enjoy watching. But not three and 4 races.
No, I think there needs to be a few tweaks, and I have no issue if it's at the same place every year.
Yeah.
Like if you did say,
I think Austria works.
The issue,
Brazil works.
It needs to. Well, you could alternate between Austria and the UK because they're back to back.
Yeah.
But both would work. Both have weather implications.
Brazil definitely. Brazil should always.
be. I didn't mind Qatar.
No, I think Qatar was actually kind of better than I thought it would be.
Qatar was quite good because the straight's so long. And think about what you've got to think about, because it's one of those places similar to Austria. There's a lot of track limits. So like you get those like random people getting knocked down in quality,
or they just moved the track limits and
like they did in Austin.
Curbs. Yeah. We'll talk. I think we'll talk about sprint races a bit more at the end of the season. But personally, I'll give them an overall. Well, the sprint race for Brazil, I give it like a 7 or a 6. 6 or a 7, probably a 6.
Like 6.
Yeah, but sprints overall. I'll do a quick rating now, and then I'll have a think about it and probably change it. But I'd say a solid 7.
I'm like a 9. I love them. I think they're so good. It's just the format.
Austria's was perfect.
And Brazil. Not Brazil. Spa.
Yeah. Although Lewis got a completely ridiculous 5-second time penalty.
He punted Perez and caused him to retire.
No.
There was a hole in the side of the Red Bull.
Well, that sounds like a skill issue.
A hole caused by his Mercedes understeering into the side of it.
He was squeezed on the...
It wasn't. He just understeered because it was a skill issue on his behalf.
Well, we debated that. We'll ignore that for the moment. We'll come back and talk our winners and spinners. Welcome back to Raw 12:51 AM and the Warwick F1 show. We're going to move on to our winners and spinners for the week. We'll get a jingle. We promise.
Someone says that you're Italian. I can see you like drumming with your hands.
I don't know. First off, well, basically, we've made a mutual agreement that we both get to introduce a spinner. I'm going to start with quite a literal spinner and Charles Leclerc. And
I don't agree with this. He didn't have a bad weekend.
No, but he also didn't have a race.
No, Charles Leclerc's car, spinner. Charles Leclerc himself, he got second in quality and beat Ferrari's main constructor issue.
Yeah.
In the sprint.
No.
Well, no, he beat Lewis.
But have you considered he span on the formation lap?
Another DNS to add to the collection.
Is that a DNS? I'm actually not sure.
He did not start, yeah.
Is that an official DNS?
Official DNS.
Okay. That's a lot. How do you...
I still can't believe he's had all 3 from Paulo as well. DNF, DSQ.
And DNS.
Yeah.
The holy trinity of managerial mess-ups.
Yeah.
No, Leclerc did have a good weekend.
But I would. Yes, okay. I'll let you say he's a spinner because that's a lot of points.
It is just really unfortunate.
He probably would have been third,
especially on a weekend where, and we will come on to it in like a minute or so. On a weekend where Mercedes struggled a lot.
I think as well. What's so upsetting is Ferrari actually had a good idea with strategy about saving a brand new set of slicks.
Yeah.
So like you could see on like just before they left for the formation lap, all the other tyres were like worn, and his still had like a perfect gleam on them.
So he started on
brand new softs.
He might have jumped.
He probably would have jumped Verstappen.
That would have been.
And that Ferrari is rapid in a straight line.
That would have been very.
He might have managed to hold, maybe not for the whole race.
Probably gets jumped at the first pit stop kind of thing.
Yeah, like he probably would have had. He would have been third comfortably.
Yeah, easily third.
Which is like. There's 15 points down the drain, which had that not happened, Ferrari would be 5 points behind Mercedes.
That's concerning. And yeah, I think that's a good segue to go into possibly the biggest spinner of the weekend, the Mercedes AMG Petronas.
Yeah.
And that apocalyptic show.
Yeah. Where did it go wrong?
I don't think I've been more... unhappy watching a Formula One race for a very long time.
This is how I feel every week.
I thought I was holding out hope that the sprint might be like an aberration because obviously it's shorter, everyone's on doing different strategies. Lewis Hamilton just dropped down the field.
He plummeted
Sunday. Then we got to the actual race and it got so much worse.
I'm almost disappointed there wasn't another safety car.
I'm not.
I was so excited. There was the prospect that they would have finished out the points.
You're so happy about this.
I am. It makes me so happy just to see Toto Wolff be like, I hate... What annoys me is that attitude about the car. Like, your car, fundamentally, is not a bad car. It is still a top 4 car on the grid.
I do actually agree with you there. It's the
I never want to have to drive.
It's the fact that they have
they've had a pristine car for 10 years.
It's not even that. It's the fact that the last 2 races, the car are genuinely.
It wasn't great in Mexico.
P2.
Was it a second?
Yeah, over Leclerc.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. P2 in Mexico, a P2 sort of in the US, and
illegally,
perhaps
with his teammate in 8th.
But but I don't know.
I think Lewis has been outperforming the car the last few weeks. It's
Absolutely.
not the car being good.
Lewis, I think, has been outperforming the car the entire season.
I think that says a lot, saying that I've just complimented Lewis Hamilton.
Well, you look to the difference between Hamilton and Russell in the championship.
It's just funny.
Is in like a lot of points, and so that's both Lewis being good and Russell having thrown away a number of potential podiums. You know, he's got 1 podium this season apparently.
Jorge Russell.
Yeah.
When?
That's a very good question. I know he's got 1. I can't remember.
Was it like
where.
Spain?
For the time while I look it up.
No, it was an absolute shocker for Mercedes anyway.
Yeah, it was awful. And George Russell, and then you look at
embarrassing.
Where was that podium? I know he's got 1. I just can't remember where. But he threw away podiums in Singapore.
It was Spain.
It was Spain.
Behind Lewis.
Was that a double Mercedes podium?
Yeah, because Perez was 3 seconds behind.
I don't remember the Spanish Grand Prix.
I do, because Charles Leclerc had a shocker.
Yeah, but that's Charles Leclerc every year at Spain.
He was within a second of Gasly for a point.
Well, yeah, he went out in Q1 on
he didn't. To be fair, we'll go back to Charles Leclerc quickly. He didn't mince his words afterwards.
What did he say?
It's not been a good season.
He's got partially unlucky, and I think he's
had a lot of bad luck.
He's also this is another. I do think there's a certain aspect of the reason you see Charles Leclerc on pole so much is also the reason you see Charles Leclerc in the barriers so much.
I don't even think he's been in the barriers that much this year, though.
Well, it was Miami.
What happened? Yeah, in quali, yeah. But what about in the race?
I don't.
Ferrari just had no pace, did they?
Well, Brazil. But that doesn't
That's
count.
not his...
That's not the race. No, but
like...
Leclerc operates on such a fine line of kind of performance.
But I think it is so... He has so much pure speed.
Yeah, and that's why he's got 20... He's got the same amount of podiums, pole positions as Fernando
I think there are
Alonso.
4 drivers on the grid on pure pace that can keep up, that are on a par. Like Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris, Leclerc.
And maybe Alonso, I'd say.
I think Alonso's left pure pace. I think Alonso's incredible defending.
His racecraft is
his racecraft is very good.
Like best racecraft.
Yes, by far. But I think in terms of raw pace, like if everyone's at peak performance, I think Leclerc beats those 4. I think we've seen it in the past.
I think I'd say Norris is a very slight 4th.
I think Norris is comfortably 4th between the 4 on that day.
I'd say the top 3 are very, very close together.
It is close.
Well, because we've seen back to 2021, we saw Verstappen and Lewis at the top of their game, kind of.
Yeah, but I think Leclerc even got a pole that year in his tractor.
He got a pole in Baku and the race after or before.
It was Monaco, wasn't it?
He almost won in.
It was Monaco when he DNF'd, wasn't it?
Yeah, he almost won in Silverstone as well.
Yeah, like in a dreadful car. Like he is a very skillful driver.
He's outperforming that car.
Not this year though.
No.
In qualifying, yeah.
This year has probably been, I would say, his worst season.
I think he's just not comfortable.
Yeah, this year I think has been his worst season in F1.
But he's not even had a bad season though.
No.
The car, especially in the first half of the season, was undrivable.
Yeah, such a high level of performance. But back to Mercedes.
Yes.
Awful. Just genuinely awful.
It doesn't bode well for the next race as well.
No, it really, really doesn't. Still at altitude, somewhat.
Yeah.
Or similar altitude.
Long straight.
Long straights, cold, looking like.
Yeah.
Mercedes have always struggled to heat up their tyres.
But it's fine, you have multiple practice sessions to set up your car.
Oh, wonderful. Is it bumpy at Vegas?
Well, it's a street race.
Yeah, it is. Oh,
but I think they've resurfaced it, haven't they? They resurfaced the whole strip.
You know what the problem is as well? The race is at 7 a.m, so I'm going to have the whole day to be unhappy about it, as opposed to 3 hours before, or 5 hours before I go to sleep.
That's fine. It will start from the day before in quali at 9 a.m.
Anyway, Lewis had a better weekend than George Russell.
That's not difficult.
No, it's not.
George beat him in the sprint race. Yeah.
Did he?
Yes. It was 6th. Because George Russell was 2nd after the first corner in the sprint race.
I can't remember. Oh, yeah, but wasn't it 6th and 7th?
No, it was like 6th and 9th. Or 6th
Lewis
and
got
8th.
Points in the sprint.
6th and 8th then, because Leclerc was between them.
Was he?
Yeah.
Right, let me look at the results. Anyway,
no, it must have been 4th and 8th.
I'll look at the results quickly. Anyway, George Russell in the race.
I think it was 5th and 8th, sorry, because you had both Red Bulls.
I'm getting it up.
Norris, Sainz, I want to say.
I don't know.
What happened with Carlos Sainz in the sprint race?
We should really... we should have these results up.
Normally we do, but... Well, normally Chinmay
does. That's
Chinmay's job.
That's the sprint shootout. Here we go. Russell was 4th. Yeah, Hamilton was 7th.
Who was 8th? Sainz?
Yeah, Sainz.
Yeah. It was close, I think. It was like a 2nd.
Yeah, Lewis was holding up.
Yeah, it's like half a second.
Yeah, about 8 drivers behind him.
Funny.
Anyway, Russell in the race, he's very jarring to listen to on occasion.
He's got curtains as well. Well, now he just looks more and more preppy by the week.
Yeah. I get his point, and to be honest, I kind of agree with it to a certain extent, is that just if Lewis keeps Russell in his DRS, then they hold those positions for a lot longer.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Would George have done it the other way around?
Yeah, no.
No, he would, just not on purpose.
The team dynamic there has not fallen apart, but it's cracking under the pressure, and they're not even in a title battle yet.
Yeah.
If they got in a title battle,
that car is remotely good next year. I don't think I think if they have the current driver lineup and they have the best car next year, they don't win it. Not constructors anyway.
I think that's a possibility. I think you're right, but let's not speculate, because I don't think
Ferrari gonna have the best car.
Well, the rumblings out of Brackley suggest that Mercedes don't have much hope for next year either.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because Ferrari are going to build a competitive.
We always start well. What are you on about? We're like the opposite of McLaren.
True.
Although I say that our car actually got better this year.
Yeah, but it wasn't difficult. Your car was terrible at the start of the year.
Well, no. Charles Leclerc's DNF'd out of at least 2 podiums this year.
Well, he disqualified out of 1. No, he was 6th. What am I on about?
No, but he was comfortably 3rd in Bahrain. I was like checking in with Checo as well.
No, he would have got 3rd place.
Yeah, he wouldn't have got 2nd, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't out of it. Anyway, it's just been a poor season for both Ferrari and Mercedes. They're still competing for P2 in the constructors, which I think is hiding a lot of the possibly...
I think it shows how bad Mercedes have been operationally.
Yeah.
Actually, the Ferrari have been operationally, and in terms of car development, they've been better this year.
Mercedes look better because Ferrari look worse.
Yes.
And that's probably the way of looking at it.
I think if Ferrari had the same performance level that they started last year with, they would have won the constructors this year.
No.
I think operationally they've been much better.
Yeah,
and their development's been better than it was.
I agree.
Also.
I think Red Bull.
I don't think Max would have won the title.
No, I think they still would have run away with it.
No, because I think if Charles Leclerc has a car that he can put on pole every single race, he beats Checo every race.
Thinking you've got a driver that is consistently putting in 25-point performances.
Yeah,
and if Leclerc has a race where he DNFs and it's Charles Leclerc, he's can be inconsistent at times.
I'm not denying that.
Then I think Red Bull still come out of that. We'll do some winners now. Aston Martin. Well, I guess it's kind of a spinner into a winner. It's sprint. You know what? Actually, both Aston Martins.
Yeah, Lance Stroll had a good.
Lance Stroll,
fifth in the race.
Yeah, fifth in the race, and to be honest,
comfortably held off Sainz.
Behind Norris, the two Red Bulls, and his teammate, probably the best position he could have come.
Best performance of the season.
Yeah, easily.
Other than when he had a broken wrist in Bahrain.
Yeah, easily his best performance. But special credit does need to go to Fernando Alonso.
Yes.
And the only interesting thing that generally happened during the race outside of the start and that crash.
Yeah.
That man's racecraft, I know we said it before,
is unmatched.
Far and away the best on the grid. Over Verstappen, over Hamilton, over anyone else. The man is insane.
It's a funny one though, because I think all the drivers that raced in the early 2000s have so much better racecraft than the current drivers do.
I think Lewis.
The strategy was so much better when you do one stop, but you'd have to refuel 8 times.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton's racecraft is. He's now the closest age comparison to.
Exactly.
I would say his racecraft's good, but it's not.
It's nowhere near.
It's nowhere near. I think Alonso's racecraft.
And also, Hamilton spent 6 years having no competition.
Yeah, I think that is another thing that probably not even. No, it's no one's fault, but it just diminishes it kind of.
So you look at Danny Rick.
Yeah.
He's not as good anymore because he doesn't get to overtake anyone.
Yeah. Alonso, by any metric, shouldn't have finished on the podium.
Or in the top, yeah.
Aston Martin were back this
Yeah,
race.
they took all their upgrades off and were better.
Yeah. They did Ferrari 2019, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And a possible engine reversal, but we don't talk about that. But no, Alonso back on the podium. Aston Martin. I don't think they're.
Did they re-overtake McLaren?
I'm looking. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I assume not because Norris finished ahead of them.
Yeah, I would say no. They are 21 points.
Ferrari are closer to Mercedes. I'm quite thankful though that McLaren are nowhere near Ferrari.
Yeah.
And you should be too.
Oh yeah, very much.
Oh, they're exactly 100 points behind.
Yeah, it's really aesthetically pleasing that all of the top 4 are on 2 point. All of the top 4 are on a point sum that ends with 2, and 3 of them are on 82.
Oh, Red Bull, they're 400 points ahead.
400 points ahead. Max is winning the Constructors' Championship on his own by 142 points.
That's more points than what's available.
He won it ages ago. Oh no, yeah, you're right. How many points are left?
You can get 40...
43, 44, 88. I think he might have won it the last race.
No, it was definitely before. It had to be this one.
Yeah.
Oh
no. Ignore that.
The drivers, even the drivers is a joke.
I know.
Checo's been bad and he's still second.
Does Max has more than double Checo's points?
Yeah, just about.
How many races have we had?
20.
Max has been averaging 26.2 points per race. He's averaging more
than what's possible in a normal weekend.
That's insane.
That's ridiculous. He's a winner. He's always a winner. But Sergio Perez, winner by his recent standards.
Oh, brilliant. The bar's in hell and he's managed to clear it.
No, he had a better performance.
He did. Right, fine.
He seemed a bit more confident. I think as well, he would have had a better weekend in Mexico had he not been an idiot on the first corner. If he knew that there were... if he had racecraft...
I'll grant Perez a winner, but he should be overtaking Alonso.
It's like giving him driver of the day when he starts
really
19th.
It really is.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'd forgotten that he didn't overtake Alonso. That was quite poor.
Very close finish. Quite enjoyable to see.
Yuki Tsunoda.
Winner, absolutely, 100%. Points in both races. I saw an AlphaTauri tweet that was like, well done to Daniel Ricciardo for finishing a few tenths outside the points. And I'm like, your driver literally finished ahead of a Mercedes. Like, come on.
It's just a joke, innit?
Yuki, I think, doesn't get as much credit as he probably deserves for how much he's improved from last season.
Yeah.
The 2020, he joined the sport in 2021, and he didn't struggle, but he wasn't exactly setting the world on fire the last 2 years. But this year, he's been on top of his game, like, so much. And I think it's because he's been in a car that really hasn't been able to compete for points for the majority of the season, where
that car was so bad for so long.
It doesn't look.
They might be quite good next week, you know. Well, 2 weeks time.
But all the messaging, and you've like, there's also been so much reporting on how Yuki himself has tried to improve his driving style, work ethic as well. Yeah. I think he said he deleted Uber Eats from his phone. Like, he's eating better, he's training better, and there's a huge amount of.
He's a very good driver,
and he's put in all that effort to improve.
I honestly think that this wouldn't have been said anywhere near for the last few. He could be that next Red Bull driver to go alongside Max.
Yeah, and the fact we're even discussing that shows how far he's come.
I don't think he'd compete with Max, but I think he'd become a Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah, but if you look looking back to 2021 and 2022,
there's no chance.
It was exactly.
Well, they were talking of getting rid of him.
Yuki is probably almost one of my drivers of the season. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Underrated driver of the season. Underappreciated driver of the season. Yuki, absolutely a winner. Any other spinners? I guess Alex Albon.
I was going to say Esteban Ocon. We haven't spoken about the crash in practice.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, he kind of just lost it, and then he did that classic F1 thing of trying.
What an idiot! The driver on the outside left me space.
I don't know. He got points in the end, or was 11th or something?
I think he was 11th.
Yeah. I think that's almost it. I'm trying to think of anyone else.
Dead.
Yeah, Haas it was not a good.
Bad again.
Yeah, but Haas in races. Logan Sargent 11th. You know what? Actually, Logan Sargent had
his teammate was out.
A good race. Like, there are 10 drivers that finish that race that are in cars that are quicker than that. Williams.
Yes. Okay.
He can't perform better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like,
I think Albon would have got a point.
But I'd say that's just Alex Albon's a really good driver.
Yeah. Alex Albon gives me such Pierre Gasly vibes.
He does. Well,
they're both really good, but they don't deserve.
I wonder why they give the same vibes. They basically had the same career path.
That's true. I'd forgotten that. No, but they both give me like Nico Hülkenberg vibes. Like, they're really good in really bad teams.
Yeah, but
and if they're in a top car, they just it doesn't.
Well,
seem
I don't think Nico Hülkenberg's ever had a chance in a.
I don't think he would have done well.
No, I think it would have depended on the car.
I still don't. No.
If you'd have put Nico Hülkenberg, I've said it and I'll say it again. If you put Nico Hülkenberg in that 2020 Racing Point, the man scores multiple podiums that season.
Yeah, but Lance Stroll scored multiple podiums that season.
He only got one, I think.
Got 2, didn't he?
Why did he score podiums?
Turkey.
Well, he bottled. No, he didn't get one in Turkey.
Did he not?
No, he finished like 9th in the end. I think he had some damage on the floor.
He got one in Sakir, didn't he?
Sakir and
there was another one.
There was Italy.
That's
kind of bottled that win.
Yeah,
he'd had a best start. Yeah, but anyway, but that's my point. Nico Hülkenberg, very underrated. Anyone else? Lando Norris.
Yeah, winner.
Just kind of.
He was out of. Oscar Piastri had a bit of.
What he's been rear-ended by that incident.
Yeah, but like really... quali wasn't great, and then it wasn't amazing in the sprint race.
Gust of wind can sort of.
And the sprint race wasn't.
No,
it was a bit off.
Wasn't a winner or a spinner.
I think Oscar Piastri's. It's quite hard to judge him at the moment because Lando Norris has been in F1 for 6 years now, give or take, a few years.
When did he? Was it 29?
How many years did he have with Science? 1 or 2?
Was he? When did he join?
It must have been 19. Sorry,
2019.
So that's 5 years now. But he's been to these tracks multiple times. Oscar Piastri has never driven at these tracks.
Yeah.
And he's still not doing badly.
There's a learning curve, and I think not every rookie can be.
He can't be at the level like he was in Suzuka every week.
Yeah.
To start with,
I think not every rookie can come straight into a car and kind of outperform it. No. Not everyone's Lewis Hamilton, essentially.
Well, even that, he was outperforming Norris at parts earlier in the season.
Yeah.
And then everyone was saying that, and then Norris was like, "I'm taking this personally."
Yeah, Norris really should have a race win by now. That's not even a criticism of Norris. Just Verstappen has been so dominant.
I really hope Oscar Piastri wins in Australia next year.
What? Just because it's Australia, or just because that means the Norris fans?
No, because it's Australia.
Yeah. Well, they didn't.
Really... I want him to win an Australian Grand Prix before Daniel Ricciardo.
It's always.
Did Mark Webber ever get a podium in Australia?
No, I don't think
any Australian.
I think his fifth in with Minardi was his best.
Mark Webber was like really bad if you think about it. Like the fact that Seb had all those records and Webber wasn't second.
Yeah.
In the constructors.
Well, Barrichello never got a podium in Brazil, I don't think. Some drivers
did.
I don't think so. It's either never won or never got a podium.
I don't think he won. I think he definitely got one.
We'll have to find that out.
Yeah, well, we can take...
Well, Ricciardo got a podium, then was disqualified in 2014.
Yeah.
Well, that's all our winners and spinners. I wouldn't say, Piastri, we'll finish off. Piastri, I wouldn't say a winner or a spinner, just kind of an average race.
Yeah.
That seems to be everyone. Ricciardo did well.
Yeah.
Kind of got unlucky with that tyre flying up was a bit scary.
Yeah.
I can't imagine those are light.
He could have landed on his helmet.
Yeah.
Barrichello has had a podium.
Oh, was he? He just never won there.
I just assume so. He was on pole in 2004 and then finished third.
Oh,
behind Montoya and Kimi.
Oh, what year was... 03 was the crazy Fisichella wins and then gives back...
Kimi win and then...
Yeah.
Oh, right. Felipe Massa was alive in that year as well.
I know. Right, let's move on to the predictions. I don't think there's been any news, really. Oh, this right to review thing, actually, quickly. Haas have launched a right to review over the US Grand Prix as well. It's a bit late.
No, because in theory, right, if that happens, because the race is classified.
Yeah.
Now, if that happens, you know what will happen next, don't you?
Everyone's gonna...
No, there'll be a Bahrain 2021 review. And Lewis Hamilton will get... And Max Verstappen will win that race.
But I thought...
That's all that'll happen.
But I thought... Oh, yeah, no, it is the same thing. Yeah, you're right.
Because Verstappen will
What was the gap?
Because realistically, that will happen. Verstappen will then win that race. And then there'll be no debate about 2021.
Let's not revisiting all sorts
Let's
of
just
past
say
races.
that the right winner, the right driver won that championship based on performances throughout the year and luck. And the overall steward's performance before the last 3 races was heavily in Mercedes' favour.
Maybe.
You know it's true.
We're going to do it. We will have to do a 2021.
Well, maybe we'll do that next week.
Yeah, that could be good, actually. A look back to the past. But not really. Yeah, the right to review, I hope nothing comes of it for no reason whatsoever. I had not considered that.
Oh, and Brazil's set on the calendar for another 6-7 years.
Best decision.
Yeah, so I love that they always wait till they get to the track for no reason.
Yeah, well.
We might not have it next year. Have another 7 years. Yeah.
Right. Predictions.
Yeah.
And
Chinmay.
So, Chinmay isn't here, so Will's going Will. I don't know. We need to think.
Will be
is going to do Chinmay's predictions. The score was 85-82 to Chinmay coming into the race, but I think this is the worst performance of the season by a mile.
I don't think it physically cannot get worse.
No, it can't.
And you say he picked first?
He did pick first.
I wouldn't be coming back next week.
No, this is.
Funnily enough, he's not here today.
No, this is truly atrocious because Chinmay went 4, Hamilton, Russell, Piastri.
So 8th and a double DNF.
And Piastri came last.
Oh, did Piastri finish?
Yeah, he was just last.
It was a lap down to start with.
Yeah, I think they never really got a chance. Safety, if they kind of praying for a safety car, that never came. Then 2 different winners in the sprint and main race. Nope. Perez doesn't score points in one of the races. Nope. And AlphaTauri overtakes Williams in the Constructors' Championship.
No, they're still 7 points behind.
Oh, so that's 0 points with a first pick.
Yep.
That is
embarrassing.
Really bad. I'm trying not to insult it too badly because he's not here to defend himself, but I will say, before the race, there was hope about Mercedes. Maybe not to that level.
Yeah, I wouldn't have not even taken Checo.
I think a Mercedes on the podium wasn't, like, out of the question after the last 2 races.
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe a win would have been a bit...
You didn't take Sainz. Or, I guess you don't take Alonso anymore.
No, well, and that's the thing. Aston Martin were terrible.
Yeah.
Before the
Alonso I can, forgive, but...
Right. Anyway, me. I said Verstappen first, Norris second, Leclerc third.
Well, that's 6 points straight away. So you've now already overtaken him again?
Yes. 6 or more teams in the top 10 for the race.
Yep.
There were 7. Either of the quali sessions have wild card in the top 5, i.e. not top 4 teams or Alonso.
Lance Stroll
has got me points there.
Yep.
And I will, obviously it looks a bit silly now with how good Aston Martin were. But again, before we did these predictions, Aston Martin had been nowhere
mid
for about 4 races.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's fair enough. And this one, ever so slightly annoyed about. Norris overtakes both Sainz and Alonso in the Drivers' Championship. If Alonso had not finished 3rd, that would have come true. So I lost that by 0.05.
You would have had 97 points to Chimay's 85. If you'd got the other 2. And Leclerc would have finished 3rd, I think. Is the consensus.
We've always said, I think, if it's a perfect week, you get 20 points or 15 points. You get extra bonus points.
Was it not 5? Was it not just 5?
Or, I don't know.
Well, either way. You would have won, basically.
Yeah, I was probably a formation lap spin and 0.05 seconds away from... Well, no, I wouldn't have been, because... Oh, no, I would have been. I was 1 formation lap spin away. Because Leclerc would have finished 3rd, Alonso would have finished 4th or 5th. That's so close. Oh, I'm so annoyed now.
Yeah.
Now I'm sad about Leclerc spinning. Anyway, what's that, 9 points overall?
Yep, 91.
Cool. 91 to 85. 6 point lead with 2 races to go.
Oh, and you get to...
And I get to pick Verstappen first, which I will be doing.
Okay.
So, Verstappen P1. Surprisingly. It's almost insane that you'd go for something else. And can you imagine who would do that? That would be
I'm going to go
ridiculous.
For Carlos Sainz P1.
Ooh.
Street race. High speed. Ferrari. It's actually quite good in the straight line.
All right. Who are you going to go P2? Because you get your P2 now.
I'm going to take
Norris. Yeah, that feels fair. I'm going to take Leclerc P2, using your same logic.
Yeah, I didn't want to double down on Ferrari.
And then I'm going to take Perez P3.
Yo, I was going to do that. Okay, so you've gone what, Perez?
I've gone Verlecper.
Right. 3rd place. Oh, dude.
Surely Alonso here is a prime.
No, but the Aston Martin...
Well, they just did so well at...
I know, but realistically, in a straight line, are they actually that good?
Well, Alonso managed
Vegas is just a straight line, though.
It is. It's a...
And it's a street race. Shall I just put Lance Stroll for the memes?
Do it.
No, we'll... I'm going to go for one of the Mercedes drivers.
Ooh. Rogue choice, especially after we've just been...
They've got 2 weeks and they have 3 practice sessions.
Alright, which one?
I'm going to go Russell.
Really? You think Russell's going to beat Hamilton?
Yeah. It's a track neither of them have raced on.
It's a track no one's raced on.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your choice.
Chinmay may hurt me.
It's your choice. Right, what's your 1 point?
That. I don't know if this is a 1 point or not, or if it's quite fragile. There was a red flag in one of the sessions.
That's a 1 point.
Okay.
Wait, one of...
I was going to do competitive.
Are we saying competitive sessions?
No, I think competitive is 2, but I only go just any session.
Okay. I am going to say Mercedes score less...
What, for a 1 pointer?
Than... I'm going to say score less than 15 points.
Oh. So if someone finishes... If they get a podium...
Would they have both drivers finish, basically? Yeah, I think less than 15 is fairly reasonable for a 1 pointer.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would have given you more points, so I said 20, but...
No, I'll take 15. I'm backing.
Okay.
I've got to let Chinmay back into it somehow.
What's your 2 point?
There will be carnage at a restart.
Does it have to be restart or start?
I might add start to that.
I'll put re in brackets.
Yeah, restart / start carnage. Carnage is obviously a arbitrary definition, and we will discuss and decide whether it has been carnage.
No, we debate.
But because it looks like it's going to be 2 degrees or somewhere, or like just freezing in Las Vegas at night, I think the tyres aren't going to have fun.
Okay.
The brakes are going to be all over the place. What are you going for?
This may be a bit rogue. The national anthem before the race will be more than 2.5 minutes long.
This is that's such a Super Bowl.
That is a Super Bowl bet. That is literally the Super Bowl bet.
Okay, 2.5 minutes. What's the line in the Super Bowl normally?
Should we see how long it was in the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, have a look at the Super Bowl line, because that's what people bet on that stuff.
How long was it? Oh, it's 1 minute 43. Okay, we won't do that. We'll do over 90 seconds.
Okay, I'll give you 1:45. I'll give you a Super Bowl length.
Okay.
Right, we'll do 1:45.
Which should be 100 seconds.
100 seconds. Good
nice
compromise.
round number.
Right, my 3-pointer. Oh, this is a difficult one. I am going to say... I don't know. Las Vegas.
Viva.
How fast did F1 cars go these days?
Many miles an hour.
What was the top speed in the speed trap for Mexico?
Many miles an hour.
Hang on, let me Google
No,
it.
do Monza. Surely.
I think Mexico's the quickest.
Monza's low downforce.
Monza
it not?
2023.
It literally has the highest average lap time, like average lap speed.
Oh, I haven't put in Monza. Do you want to do your 3 points while I Google this?
Williams double points. Is that enough for a 3-pointer?
I think I did a 2-pointer for that in Mexico, but yeah, I think that 2-pointer was a bit optimistic.
Okay. Williams double points and double top 10 in qualifying.
No, I'll give you double points for a 3-pointer.
Awesome.
The race maximum speeds were Lewis Hamilton hit 359 at a speed trap, apparently.
359, jeez.
I am going to go for a driver hits over 360 kilometers an hour in the speed trap. Actually, where is the... I don't know where the speed trap is. Alright, a driver hits over 360 in the speed trap.
Okay. I respect that.
Nice, unorthodox prediction. So, what is your podium and then 1, 2, and 3 for Chinmay?
So Chinmay
trying to make up
thinks,
a 6-point deficit.
Hey, I've done that twice.
You literally cannot do worse than what he did.
I have literally swung this like competition both ways this year.
You have. You've been.
I brought you back into it,
and then
I brought Jimmy. I gave Jimmy the lead last time. So I said Sainz, Norris, Russell. I've got it all in ready to go anyway.
Cool.
And then my 1 point is there was a red flag in any session.
Yeah.
It's a street race.
Yeah.
Probably gonna happen. Probably gonna be a Haas. 2 points. The national anthem is longer than 100 seconds.
I'll be there with my stole.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. And my 3 point is that Williams get double points.
Okay. And I've gone Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez.
Yep.
Mercedes score less than 15 points, which is
backing your team.
Feasible. Well, no, it's called.
When Lewis Hamilton wins and you haven't got anything Mercedes related,
it's called emotional hedging. It's what I should have done last night in the New York Giants game.
What, and hope that they lose to win you money?
Yeah.
Did you bet on the Raiders to lose?
No, yeah, I did actually. What about your team? This isn't NFL. Fortunately, because it was a
I don't care. The Packers won that.
Horror show.
I'm actually happy on a Monday for this first time. Chelsea going to ruin it tonight. So.
Oh yeah.
I know. We should have beat Arsenal, so we should
lose
Spurs.
to the Spurs. Right. Anyway, restart/start carnage, and a driver hits over 360 kilometers an hour in the.
They become Lightning McQueen, basically.
Ka-chow.
Yes. Okay. Nice.
And yeah, I guess we haven't really previewed Las Vegas quickly.
No one knows how to preview it.
It looks very entertaining.
Gunter Silence wears a sparkly Vegas jacket.
I think it will be an American Monaco.
There will definitely be good girls.
It will be fast, it will be brash, it will be loud.
It's the opposite of Monaco in terms of the track. Christian Horner literally described it as an upside down piggy.
It does look like an upside down pig.
Yeah, it is.
But I am always willing to give new tracks a try.
It's quite wide.
It's wide. It's down the Vegas Strip.
It's Mexico with less downforce.
It will go past the Sphere, which is my favourite thing ever created by
My
humanity.
only concern is there could be a very, very high speed crash.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Into a big wall.
They must have a huge runoff area at the end of that long straight.
It goes into a chicane.
But is it? Surely it's like, I've not seen how.
I'd assume there's.
I'd assume it's like Baku kind of thing where they I keep it going for a few.
I can't imagine it's not.
No.
And I assume it's tyre barriers the whole way down the side of the streets.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
Well, I say this is no different to Baku, is it, I suppose?
Yeah, it's very similar track to Baku in a way, kind of.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I hope they get the DRS zones the right length.
They won't.
I hope it's too long then. Too short was dead. There's no racing.
That lap 1 is going to be absolute chaos down that straight.
I'm not going to put this in the predictions, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was no one in DRS after the first 2 laps.
You reckon?
I reckon everyone would just get spread out.
Oh, maybe. No, someone will be in a... Someone will have overqualified and be in a DRS train.
Max Verstappen will be... Yeah, but I don't think you'll get DRS trains. I think the straight is too long.
No, that is the thing. Well, that's...
But then I suppose you see it in Monza.
How long is the straight?
I think the difference is, though, what's quite nice is compared to Monza and Mexico, where you go onto the long straight, and to an extent Baku, where you go onto the straight and it's like high-speed corners, you come onto the straight out of a hairpin. So if you get a good exit, you can actually, like, push.
Oh yeah, it's again similar to kind of Baku.
Yeah. Whereas like with Monza, like you get onto the straight and you're kind of like you're coming off the parabolica, off a straight, off a high speed chicane, off a straight.
The straight is 2
miles,
kilometers long.
Of course, it's not in miles. Oh, they're not kilometers.
Apparently so.
Nice.
We can't say that on this show. We can't say what we want to say, but just Google it. Just Google Americans kilometre. It'll probably come up.
What is it?
I've also realised we can talk about the NFL because Vegas, and we lost to Vegas. Yeah. So segue. Right.
The Sphere.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to it. They put Stein's face on the Sphere.
Oh, I love the Sphere. It's so dumb. I love it.
So dumb. Did you see it winked at someone who was
on the plane?
What?
Right, I think we're showing that we've kind of run out of things to talk about, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you to everyone for listening. We'll be back next week to talk something.
Maybe 2021.
Maybe 2021, where we have a massive argument about who deserved to win that title. I never actually got to talk about Abu Dhabi at the time because I think.
Did you not?
Neither
did I actually.
The season had ended. It was week 10. The race was week 10.
Yeah, so we never did one.
Yeah, we never did one.
Oh, well, this will be fun.
Yeah, so we'll revisit something we should have discussed 2 years ago now.
This will be good fun. I'm looking.
It will. I will do that.
We will do this.
So make sure to tune in next week if you want to hear me and Will probably get into some arguments about.
No, I'm like unbiased but biased.
Well, you don't have
I don't have a foot in.
Don't have a horse in the game kind of thing. Yeah. Well, tune in next week, and you can hear that. Make sure to keep listening on wherever you're consuming this, live or on demand. And I don't know. How do you end? I'm not very good at ending things.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
We'll be back next week to talk all things Formula 1.